Hello! So I sat down to film this video and it was lovely and sunny and the sun was shining, and then I pressed play and now it's gone really cloudy, so that's not great, but it's still warm, so I'm still going to do it outside, but it's still just not as aesthetically pleasing as I wanted it to be, so I apologise for that. So today we're going to talk about purpose, and for me purpose is one of those things that always crops up. It's always on the back of my mind. And a few weeks ago, Eloise posted a video, and in it she mentioned about like going for a drive with Jesus. So after watching that video, I was like, do you know what? Yes, I'm going to go for a drive with Jesus, because I love that. I love the freedom of just being able to put on my worship songs and just pray out loud to God whilst I'm driving along. So as I was driving along, I was praying about a load of stuff. I was getting loads of stuff out with God, came to a really good place. And then I was like, so God, if you could just tell me what my purpose is, if you could just tell me like the plans for the whole of my life, like when I'm going to get married, when I'm going to have kids, what my job's going to be, all of this stuff. If you could just like right now just tell me everything that I'm going to do in my life and what my purpose is and what my calling is, that would be great. And I just really clearly heard God say, you don't need to know that. And I remember being quite shocked at the time. I was like, what? This is my life and I don't need to know that? Like, excuse me, hello. But actually, like, God was so true in the fact that we don't need to know everything that's going to happen in our life. And recently I've been doing an online course, and in the course we had this session on calling and purpose, and the speaker said something that really hit me, and I was like, that is so true. And she said, often we can focus on the purpose and not the purpose giver. And I think that is such a true thought to sort of sit with for a second, that often when it comes to our calling, when it comes to our purpose, we can focus on the purpose, we can focus on what we're going to do, on the actions that we need to take, whereas we don't actually focus on the purpose giver. And I was reading a devotion this morning that said, a greater sense of understanding and purpose won't happen without the passionate pursuit of God. And that just links in so nicely. That when we focus on the purpose giver, when we passionately pursue God, that's when we're going to have a greater understanding of what we need to do with our life. But when we're focusing on the purpose and we're just focusing on the actions, or we're just focusing on the materialism of that, of the physical, that's when we sort of lose track, and that our eyes are just focused on the purpose and not the purpose giver. Recently I've been going through Matthew, and I was reading the Sermon on the Mount, and specifically chapter 6, which I think, after reading it, is probably one of my favourite chapters in the Bible. But that talks about do not worry, and that idea of don't worry about the clothes on your back, don't worry about the food that goes into your mouth, because isn't your life worth so much more than this? And also, like, don't be sort of materialistic in our living. And whilst I was reading that, I was reading a commentary on that, and it talked about the key theme throughout the whole of the Sermon on the Mount is this idea of, where is my heart? What is my heart focusing on? And I just thought that linked in really nicely to this idea of purpose, of like, where is your heart when it comes to purpose? Is your heart seeking the purpose, or is your heart seeking the purpose giver? And I just really want today to offer those questions to you, to sort of spend some time sitting and thinking about, where is your heart when it comes to your purpose? Is it focusing on the one who gives the purpose, or is it just focusing on getting through the actual purpose of whatever it is? And often for me, I know that my heart holds on to the purpose, and it can hold on to just satisfying the next thing. So like, often I can spend time thinking, oh well, if only I just have a job, then I'll be happy. If only I just have, a boyfriend, then I'll be happy. If only I just have a husband, then I'll be happy. If only I just have my dream house, then I'll be happy. And whatever that is for you, I just invite you to offer it up to God, to say, God, like, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my life calling is at the minute, but I just give this all to you. I give these little things that I feel like I need to satisfy me. I just give them to you, and I say, actually, God, I know that my life's worth more than this, and I know that you've got a bigger plan. I sort of read a quote the other day that was like, the God of the universe, the one who put the stars in the place, the one who controls the oceans, the one who is the one who's in charge, the one who puts the whole world in the palm of his hand, is telling you, do not worry, like, he's got this. And so I just invite you to, whatever fears or worries you have about your purpose, just offer them up to God now. Just give them to him. Just know that he says, do not worry about the clothes on your back. Do not worry about the food. Do not worry about what I've got planned for you, because you don't need to know that at the minute, because God's got it, and God's going to show you the next step and the next step and the next step. And that's how he does it, because in doing that, we need to trust him. In doing that, we need to rely on him for every single step that we take. So right now, I just invite you to take a big sigh of relief in the fact that you don't have to have your life together. You don't have to know your calling. You don't have to know your purpose. Just sigh it off and just give it up to God and say, actually, God, I trust you in the next step. Whatever it may be, that you're going to take me there, that you're going to provide for me while I'm there, and that I don't need to know the whole plan. I don't need to know the whole path. Because often I think if I know the whole path of my life, I'm going to be absolutely terrified and I'm just not going to want to do it. So I think God's saving us all in not showing us what our purpose is, because he knows that we're quite a lot of the time we're quite scared about this sort of stuff. So yeah, I invite you to do that today, to offer up whatever it is that you need to offer up to God, to say, God, I know that you've got this, I know that you've got a plan, and I trust you in it.